Developing and running international joint degree programs is a relatively new phenomenon in this part of the world.
But it's happening. It's been happening in Nigeria since the pandemic started.
Well, so it is. But then educational regulatory agencies such as the National University Commissions must play a very key role in this process. So the thing is, how far have you gone in ensuring that they buy in to this?
Well, actually, the NUC was attending, the National Universities Commission attended this conference, and they were there for all of the days that we had the conference. So we work very, very closely with them. But they are also really tracking this and very interested in this because this is the future, where people will study online. Dr. Bennett made a great point during the conference that our children, for example, they don't know what online is because it's just how they do things. They read texts online. Nobody has books. All the materials are part of the course where you sign in. So the world is really, really changing. And it's happening in universities. We had many Nigerian students during the pandemic that were studying online with their American universities during the pandemic. We also have certain universities in Nigeria, Ahmedu Bello University, for example, that has an online MBA. So we had the NUC, the National Universities Commission. We had NGOs interested in education. We had the edutech sector come to our conference, and then plus our speakers, plus an unprecedented collection of vice chancellors in one room. Honestly, I felt like I was in the presence of academic royalty. There were so many vice chancellors. But this, bringing all the stakeholders together, as you point out, Ibrahim, is so important.
Well, Dr. Patrick, could you share some best practices? Because it's one quite thing to bring something to the table. It's another thing to look at how we can actually, build and sustain long-term institutional partnership and joint degree programs between the U.S. and Nigerian higher institutions.
Ibrahim, that's a great question. Any partnership that we build needs to be sustainable, and it needs to be something that's going to last for the students on both sides. We talked deeply about this at the conference with the vice chancellors and the National Universities Commission. It is important, and I'll go back to my first comments. This has to be a mutual win-win-win across the board. And I think to make it sustainable, there are opportunities now, specifically because of educational teaching and learning technology, where we can provide access to students. And so it doesn't have to be that I do 2 years here and 2 years in the U.S. It could be that I do 3 years here or 4 years here, and I do 1 year online with the U.S. And there are different ways for us to do those exchanges, but it also lowers the cost. So I think the two key points to this is increase access and lower the cost.
We're really going to talk about how, the strategies to lowering that cost, because that is one of the challenges that a lot of Nigerians, especially this part of the world, are facing. But then, Stephen, what should Nigerian universities consider the U.S. colleges and universities for partnerships? Because, how would you describe the strength of the U.S.-Nigeria educational ties?
Well, again, it's a really growing ties. We have relationships with over 31 universities through the Fulbright program. We have over 1,000 Nigerian Fulbright alumni since 1960. So we have been at this for decades.
And that relationship is very seamless.
It is. And it's every year we have, an annual call for Fulbright scholars. But it's a two-way street. We have over 1,000 Nigerian Fulbright alumni, but we have over 500 Americans that have been to Nigeria every year. We have between 8 and 12 Americans studying right here in Nigeria every year, contributing. And these are lifelong partnerships. These are life-changing partnerships. And so I think there's a lot to offer. From American universities, 50% of the world's top 50 universities are American, for example. So it's a world-class education. Nigerians have so much to offer. They're hardworking, dynamic. Look at all of the technology that's coming out of Nigeria. Flutterwave, for example, Paystacks. Look at the music. Look at the creative industry. Look at, Netflix is here. Amazon is here. All of this is also leveraging technology. So why not also American universities and Nigerian universities?